These famous names aren't quite as squeaky clean as you thought. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 celebs you didn't know have been to prison. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at British celebrities or celebs who are predominantly famous in the UK, who you may not have known have spent time behind bars. Number 10, Jamie Waylett. Jamie Waylett entered the pop culture stratosphere playing Vincent Crabbe in the Harry Potter film series.
What's wrong with you, Crab?
Stomachache.
However, in 2009 he was arrested and charged with growing marijuana plants in his mother's home and sentenced to 120 hours of community service. However, that was not the end of his criminal ways. In 2011 he was picked up during the England riots and charged with violent disorder, or having an article with intent to destroy or damage property and receiving stolen goods.
What's the matter with you two? You're acting very odd.
In 2012, Waylett was sentenced to 2 years in prison for his participation in the riots and has yet to appear in another film or TV show. Number 9, William Roache.
Do you feel your age at all?
No.
I mean, obviously you don't look it.
Quite honestly, I still feel a bit immature. I don't feel I've grown up. My children tell me what to do, but I call them the irritants, actually, by the way.
This one's more of a close call than actual imprisonment. Longtime Coronation Street star William Roache found himself in hot water in 2013 when he was arrested by Lancashire police and charged with 2 counts of rape. The charges stemmed from an incident that allegedly occurred with a 15-year-old girl in 1967. While Roache vehemently denied the allegations, he was nonetheless taken to a police station in Leyland, Lancashire, and subsequently charged with an additional 5 counts of indecent assault. However, in February of 2014, he was acquitted on all charges, due in part to the witnesses lacking sense and credibility. For Roache, he was just happy to get back to work.
So I shall take advantage of this rare ceasefire to watch my documentary before the cacophony starts off again. So, if you'll excuse me.
Number 8, Sean Bean.
You know, James, I was always better.
Hollywood's leading dying man, Sean Bean, has dipped his toes in a number of iconic franchises from The Lord of the Rings to Game of Thrones. However, in July of 2008, he was in the news for all the wrong reasons. Bean had been taken into police custody and jailed for 6 hours after his wife, Georgina Sutcliffe, informed them that he had assaulted her. The allegation was investigated by Scotland Yard, but it was decided that no further action should be taken against Bean. Bean spoke to the media about the incident as well as his relationship with his wife the following day, indicating that all was okay.
I come before you to confess my treason.
Number 7, Ozzy Osbourne. Few rock stars are as synonymous with wanton destruction, disorderly conduct, and brushes with the law as Ozzy Osbourne. However, his musical career was nearly derailed long before it even started. In 1966, Osbourne was arrested for burglarizing a store in Birmingham and was quickly found guilty by a judge. With his father refusing to help him and no money of his own with which to pay the fine, Osbourne was forced to spend 6 weeks locked up in Winson Green Prison. This was hardly the last time Osbourne tangled with Johnny Law, as he was infamously arrested in 1982 for peeing on a cenotaph commemorating the Battle of the Alamo, and subsequently banned from San Antonio, Texas for 10 years.
I love you all. I love you more than life itself. But you're all mad.
Number 6, Simon Cowell.
It's a very different place from when we started like 15 years ago with these shows, because you've got so many different things you can watch now.
Judge Dredd himself recounted a story to This Morning's Alison Hammond in 2017, in which he hijacked a bus with a fake gun at the age of 12. The story goes Cowell was goofing around with some friends when they decided to trick a bus driver into bringing them to Watford. The driver must have believed their shtick, because he apparently didn't stop until he brought the boys all the way there. Cowell was arrested and thrown in jail for his participation in the gag, but no word on how long he stayed behind bars. Seeing as this story came directly from Cowell himself, perhaps it should be chased with a grain or two of salt.
We had some moments over the last few days where I've gone, this is as good as I can remember.
Number 5. Mick Jagger.
Have you enjoyed the process of looking back? Have you felt nostalgic?
No.
Stones frontman Mick Jagger cemented his counterculture image when he and bandmate Keith Richards were arrested on drug charges in 1967 following a raid on Richards' home in Sussex. Richards was charged with allowing cannabis use on his property, while Jagger was charged for being in possession of 4 Italian pepper pills. Richards was sentenced to a year behind bars, while Jagger was given 3 months, both uncommonly heavy penalties.
Jagger put his hand to his face as he was given 3 months. For a moment, he looked like fainting, then prison officers moved forward.
Both men appealed their sentences, but not before spending a night in prison. Richards was eventually able to overturn his conviction, while Jagger was ultimately given a conditional discharge. Number 4. Anthony Joshua. To the outside observer, heavyweight boxer and Olympic gold medalist Anthony Joshua was on the fast track to superstardom from an early age. However, his boxing dreams were nearly dashed at the age of 20 when he was picked up and jailed for what he describes as fighting and other crazy stuff. Joshua was actually on remand in Reading Prison for 2 weeks while he awaited his sentence. According to him, he could have been locked away for 10 years. Instead, he was released and forced to wear an ankle monitor. Joshua was later arrested for drug possession in 2011 and sentenced to 100 hours of unpaid work and 12 months community service.
Yeah, I was arrested. I was on remand, and then I got banned from Watford for 14 months. They said I'm not allowed to be in the area.
Number 3. Stephen Fry.
Look at that.
The quick-witted actor, writer and comedian presents as a good-natured and highly intelligent gentleman of the highest order. This makes it all the more shocking to learn that Fry once served 3 months in prison for credit card fraud. While he was still in his teens, Fry stole credit cards from a family friend and went on a spending spree. He was picked up at a 4-star hotel in Swindon after the receptionist noticed that the young Fry had what she described as a tramp's shoes and called the credit card company. Fry would later state that his time in Pucklechurch prison was exactly the kick he needed to turn his life around.
There's no doubt that I do have extremes of mood that are greater than just about anybody else I know.
Number 2. Paul McCartney.
So we got ripped off, but then, hey, what the heck?
It's pretty well known that Macca has enjoyed a toke now and again, and that love of pot once resulted in him being arrested in Japan and ultimately jailed for over a week in 1980 after customs officials found approximately 225 grams of weed in his luggage. This could have landed him in prison for up to 8 years, but seeing as how he was an international celebrity, he was simply released and deported. A long-time proponent for the legalization of marijuana, McCartney made his feelings on the subject known following yet another arrest in 1984, stating cannabis is less harmful than rum punch, whiskey, nicotine, and glue, and that in his mind, he caused no harm.
Uncle Jack!
Jackie boy! How's it going?
Can't complain, really. You?
I've been waiting all morning in here for a beating.
Number 1. Gino DAcampo.
Interpretation of the sausage in the hole.
Celebrity chef and This Morning contributor Gino DAcampo may not be British, but there's no denying that he's one of the UK's biggest celebrities. However, things didn't exactly start off on the right foot for DAcampo when he first arrived in Britain. The future TV personality was busted for burglary after having stolen £4,000 worth of guitars and CDs of great sentimental value from the home of musician Paul Young.
And this is gonna be shit all the way. So
for his crime, he served 2 years in prison and came out of prison a changed man, and immediately set about getting his life in order. Young later forgave DAcampo, quipping, "I hope I can get an invite to your new restaurant." Now that's a forgiving man. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.